Hey guys, Mr. Simons here. I'm just talking through some of the answers to the Big Salmon text. I'm actually just going to talk about the questions themselves and the kind of responses that you should be writing. Okay, so how to actually answer the questions. You should know all the things in bold here, all the jargon, all the meta language. You should know them all, and if you don't, then you should be looking them up in your book as you go. This is an open book SAC, so there's no excuse for not knowing any of the terms. But I want to talk about how you actually answer each of these. Notice, so before you listen to this, you should have read the Big Salmon text. You should have attempted to answer these yourselves. Okay, so you should have a full list of answers. All right, let's have a look. Identify the register of the text. Notice that identify is lower order thinking, and that's all the verb says to do. Identify it, and then 1 mark. So if you just said formal or informal, you'd get 1 mark. Okay, if you said it's formal, then you don't get any marks because that's wrong. All right, it is very informal. So you just say informal because all it asks you to do is identify it. Here though, the next question asks you to actually substantiate that, and it's 3 marks. So this is an awkward one. All right, guys, that's quite big, 3 marks. Identify it, you need to say that it is informal, and then you need to explain one feature that supports it. Okay, so to get a mark, you need to find a feature. Okay, so that's the meta language of the feature. Then you need to quote it. All right, then you have 2 marks there to explain it. Actually, how does that support the register? Why is that feature informal? And you need to give 2 reasons for that. Okay, so identify and explain. So the feature and the quote, that'll give you 1 mark, and then 2 marks for your explanation here. Okay, next question here. Identify and comment on. Notice this comment on, which is different from explain, but essentially that's what they want you to do, to explain. All right, don't just describe what it looks like on there. Okay, description is like identification, doesn't get you much, but explaining something, why is it there, how is it used, what does it mean? Okay, that's comment on or explain. Elision. Okay, make sure you pick it out of these lines. If you don't, then you don't get the marks. Okay, you get 1 mark here for identifying and quoting. You get another mark for your explanation and comment. All right. Explain the impact of emphatic stress. Use on lines 48 to 50. It does not say you need to quote it, but do it anyway. Okay. Explain the impact of emphatic stress. If you choose any emphatic stress from here, you need to quote it. Okay, quote it and then explain why that particular emphatic stress in that particular quote was used. All right, so 1 point for finding the emphatic stress and quoting it, 1 point for actually explaining why that specific example that you chose was used. All right. Here's the thing, using meta language. In every question you should be using meta language, but they're being very particular here. Okay. Explain one of the functions or social purposes of the text. Provide specific example to support your response. This is 3 marks here. So choose the function. Okay, it could be phatic discourse, phatic conversation. It could be to highlight the need for something or to value something or other in social purpose. It could be to find out how to actually fish. In this case, it's about fishing. Okay, so there are probably 1 or 2 functions. The highest one is probably phatic. But where do I see phatic? So I've said that it's function, and now I need to actually have the meta language to explain a feature of phatic discussion. All right, 3 marks for that one. Okay. Number 6, explain how the lexical choices reflect a semantic field in this text. Refer to at least 2 specific examples. Guys, what's a semantic field? So what's the field of discourse? We've got fishing, okay? They're talking about fishing, Okay, and a lexical choice about fishing. He says the word cook. He says the word big salmon. He says the word beach, fishing, poppers, eel, bait. So any of those lexical choices you could use, okay? And it says here lexical choices. You could have a couple of examples, but you have to explain how they reflect the semantic field. Well, bait is something that is used to catch fish, okay? Whereas the beach is a place where you go to do fishing, okay? So you just explain a couple of things that relate to fish here, if you like. Is this the last question? Yeah, number 7. Identify 2 features of spoken discourse and give an example of each. Comment on the effect of these. Spoken discourse. If you don't know what this is the biggest one. If you don't know what feature of spoken discourse is, go back to your Living Lingo book and look up features of spoken discourse and then identify 2 of them. Okay, it's not good enough at this stage that you don't know features of spoken discourse, and it could be managing a conversation. It could be laughing and paralinguistic features and things like that. So guys, this is a big one. I'd expect 3 marks for one feature and 3 marks for the other one. So that's meta-language and quote and explanation times 2 for this question. Guys, I hope that was helpful. A helpful discussion of simply answering questions in short answer questions. You need to really pay attention to what each question is asking you to do, especially with the verbs here: identify, and explain, comment on, explain, that kind of thing. And then this one, it'll often say using meta-language when it doesn't give you a feature here. So this doesn't give you a feature. And what that using meta-language is saying is, hey, identify some features for me. Use the linguistic terms for me, because this is too broad. This is not features. This is just kind of contextual stuff. Okay. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful for you. Please ask questions if you have them. Bye-bye now.